दे। देखो दे के बाद हैव के बाद क्या आएगा? दे। हैव दे में फिर आप डॉट लगाएंगे। फिर अगर आपको दिक्कत आ रही है तो फिर दे में डॉट लगेगा, अगर क्लियरिटी नहीं बन पा रही इन दैट केस। वरना सेंटेंस बता देगा कि क्या है, वरना फिर डॉट लगेगा दे में, देम में नहीं लगेगा। और बाकी मैंने बता ही दिया था इसका कि इज, इसका एज, हैज, इज, हिज का, कि एंड, इज, एंड, हिज, एंड, एज, एंड, हैज। हैज में वर्टिकल कट है, इसमें डॉट है, हिज में हॉरिजॉन्टल है, और बिना उसके एज है। अगर डिफरेंस नहीं होता ये तभी यूज करना है। आप कैसे यूज करते? तो ये जो यूज करते हो लाइन से ऊपर स्मॉल सर्कल, क्या पढ़ते हैं इसको? एज, और इसको वर्टिकल कट करेंगे तो हैज। ये इज और ये हिज। अगर आप दोनों को सेम पढ़ते हो या लाइट और डार्क करते हो तो ये कंफ्यूजन कर देता है कई बार। तो इन्हीं पैटर्न को मिलाकर बनाए गए हैं ये आगे के कंटेंट, ताकि डिफरेंस क्लियर रह सके। ये ऐसे यूज में नहीं आएंगे, जब आप लगातार अभ्यास करोगे तो ये यूज में देखने से नहीं आएंगे, आपको यूज में प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी। आपको लगभग 1-2 पेज भरने पड़ेंगे इसके, फिर आप इसको डिफरेंशिएट कर पाएंगे इजीली। जो मैं वर्ड बोलूंगा उसकी स्पीड लगभग 100+ होगी, लेकिन सारे के सारे कॉमन वर्ड होंगे, कॉमन फ्रेजेस होंगे। जो आपको सेट दिया गया था सारे उसी में से आप स्टार्ट करेंगे। इसके साथ साथ ही मैं डिक्टेशन कंटिन्यू करूंगा कॉन्वर्ट 2A से। 2A का सेट, 2B से, 2B का सेट है आपके पास? ठीक है, ले लेंगे अभी आप। रेडी, स्टार्ट इट। इट इज, इट इज नॉट, इट वाज, इट मे बी, इट कैन हैव, it should be, it would not, of it, of them, of that, of her, of me, of my, of our, of course, to do, to this, to have, to meet, to send, to stay, to reply, for this, for that, for you may, for many, for myself, for anyone, if we can, if they may, if you can, if you would, if no one, and they, and this, and we, and I, and is, and his, and as, and has, and there is, and there has, and be seen, and have done, should have, should be, should not be, should now, should there, should this, should we, on his, on which, on many, on your, on our, on these, on that, on their, but they, but we may, but must, but can we, but that is, but this, but there, I have this, I had them, I do that, I shall be, I thank you, I think that you are, I know that we, you are, you would be, you can, you come, you go, you may, you should, you can, we have, we shall be, we do, we had, we may, we are, he is, he has, he is not, he has not, he was, he cannot be, he may have, he may be pleased, he is unable, she is, she was, she may have, any more, any time, in any case, they may be, they can be, they must, they thought we, they have, they do not, they just, this can have, this can be, this could not, this may, this time, this does, that it, that they, that this, that may, that has been, that is not, that has not, that is never, that has never, there are, there cannot, there can be, there was, there would have, there is no one, have his, have as, have us, have that, have they, have them, have not, have never, have you been, have we seen, which is, which has, which has been, which has not been, which we know, which cannot, which should have, which may have, had you, do you, had they, had them, do they, do them, had that, do mean, do we know, how can they, how may we, how many, how long, how are, why it, why does, why they, why have we, whether it is, whether it has, whether they are, who can, who gives, who was, who is, who has, who would be, who must, who should have, with it, with which, with us, with his, with them, with these, with thanks, with that, with whom, when it, when do you, when had you, when they, when this, when that is, when that has, when have we, when is, when has, when his, what it, what is, what has, what does, what was, what have we, what may, what can they, what would be, would have, would never, would not be, would say, would respond, would go, would the, would his, as it, has it, as it is, as it has, is it, as this, has this, is this, as that, has that, is that, his that, as they may, please take, please have, please do not, take place, taking place, taking away, of those, of this, of these, in much, in which, in each, I talk, I take, I took, of those that have been, of this type of these, who can, in much the same, in which you may have, in each of them, and of, and to, and should, we should I should, at any time, at no time. देखो ये वो फ्रेजेस है जो आपको उसमें दी गई थी। इसमें से ना कुछ फ्रेजेस जो मैंने बाद में बोली है वो ज्वाइंट नहीं होगी। अगर एंड के साथ शुड आ जाए तो क्या करोगे आप? ज्वाइंट कर पाओगे? एंड शुड, वी आर के साथ शुड आ जाए, नहीं कर पाएंगे। तो उस केस में आई के साथ में शुड आ जाए तो ज्वाइंट नहीं करेंगे। तो आपको उनको डिफरेंशिएट करना पड़ेगा, अलग से लगाना पड़ेगा। ये नहीं कर सकते आई में शुड लगा दिया। आपको आगे इंग्लिश दी हुई है, पीछे आउटलाइन दी हुई है, वो सही आउटलाइन दे रखी है। फिर भी कोई कंफ्यूजन है आप पूछ लेंगे उस कंफ्यूजन को। अब आप डिक्टेशन लिखेंगे 90 के आसपास की स्पीड पे, कौन वर्ड सही। रेडी, स्टार्ट इट। जिसको सेट नहीं मिला भाई वो सेट मैं आपको अभी 1 घंटे बाद दे दूंगा। जब तक आप टाइप कर आएंगे तब तक ये सेट आ जाएंगे। कौन सा नंबर लिख दी मॉर्निंग में आपने? 9 नंबर। ठीक है, start it. The Honorable Minister for Banking has said that the opposition is creating an atmosphere of despondence and it is creating a misapprehension. Is this misapprehension? I do not like to enter into further arguments with him, but I warn the government that it should think about the situation. There are many comments on the debt trap I have mentioned. I do not like to read out these comments in order to save my time. In this connection, the question of devaluation comes in, and it is a very serious danger to our country's economic sovereignty. I do not have the time to explain. If there is a devaluation, then we will earn less while we export more in volume, and when we import, we shall spend more. That is another angle, another factor of the debt trap. As for the unofficial devalued position of our rupee in terms of the SDR, the Indian rupee has got devalued as much as 40% during the last 15 years. Therefore, I have referred to the debt trap. This is what is happening. The day before yesterday, the Honorable Finance Minister asked Professor Lakshman what our suggestion was regarding a ceiling, not only on deficit but also on external debt. I say, yes, there is a ceiling insofar as external borrowing is concerned. There must be a safe limit, and this safe limit should not exceed 20% of the export earnings in a year. And this was said by our Honorable Finance Minister of this very government. Who that person was, I need not take his name. Everybody knows he was recognized as the number 2 of Prime Minister's cabinet. He prescribed in this house and in the other house that our safe limit on external borrowing should not exceed 20% of the annual export earnings. This, I think, was said when the country was debating the IMF loan, as he said that we were certainly prudent. We are within the safe limit of that. Now, according to my calculation, I may be mistaken. I wish I were mistaken. That limit has reached about 27%. Therefore, we have crossed the danger mark. We have crossed the red line. Therefore, government should exercise great restraint on this. I have seen how the World Bank assistance is misused. In this connection, I would like to mention about the circulation of money. The aggregate money circulated was of the order of rupees 7,000 crores, which has increased to about rupees 80,000 crores. Therefore, you can very well understand the impact of all these things. Now, much is being talked about the deficit of rupees 7,000 crores. I do not like to enter into it now. But what is that is causing me anxiety? It is this deficit of rupees 7,000 crores which is going to be there after the new imposts by way of taxes, direct and indirect, of rupees 600 crores, and also after the imposition of a new type of taxation, that is hike in the administered prices to the extent of about rupees 3,000 crores. Sir, the Honorable Minister of State for Finance was mentioning that it was the practice adopted by some other government against which they have got something. Even if they had done it, it is not correct approach to the problem. If the Janta government had done so, it was wrong on their part to have done so, because administered price should not become another instrument for raising the revenue. That is the fundamental position which the government should accept. I am opposed to this practice. I am opposed to this because if you raise your revenue by way of excise duty, custom duty, etc., they are to be shared by the states. Whereas if you raise revenue through the system of administered prices, you retain everything with you, and I shall come to that aspect later on. Therefore, this is not to be followed that way. It is a different thing. But the states are being deprived of their legitimate share, and if they had been a part of the regular budget, the states would not be deprived of their legitimate share. Therefore, even hiking the administered prices has become a regular phenomenon in revenue raising. Last year, you might have noticed the budget imposts were of the order of rupees 963 crores, but the administered prices touched the figure of rupees 3,000 crores during the year. This is the revenue income by way of increase in the administered prices, which is more than 3 times or 4 times more than what we imposed on the people by way of regular budget imposts. ये जो स्पीड है इसकी 90 की स्पीड है, 782 वर्ड है, कॉमन भी वर्ड्स का पार्ट 2B है और नंबर है उसका 10 नंबर. देखो कॉमन वर्ड पार्ट 2B की मोस्टली डिक्टेशंस आपको कंटिन्यू मिल गई है. अगर आपको ऐप पे नहीं मिल रही तो आपको यूट्यूब पे मिल जाएगी सारी की सारी. कॉमन वर्ड थर्ड का मैं देखता हूं, या तो मैं डिक्टेशंस उसकी आपको ऐप पे शेयर कर दूंगा, आप वहां से लेंगे, सेट में तो उसको दूंगा जो कॉमन वर्ड 2A और 2B सबमिट कर चुका है. 2A सबमिट करनी है, डिक्टेशन भी साथ साथ. ठीक है. अब आप एक टेबल लिखेंगे,